And we've talked about on the show before, which I don't agree with. I call it the "we're not ready" crowd. So you got the, well, we can't get tired. We're not ready.
Yeah.
The freaking Miami Dolphins are ready. The New York Jets are ready. I don't get this crowd, Jody. And I say it all the time. I think the Sixers broke Philadelphia. We got this whole, and it's not everybody, and I'm not trying to, but there is a large swath of people that always says, we're not ready. We're not ready. We're not ready. I don't, and if I use the Sixers as an example, I don't think they're going to win the NBA title, but I'm not going to criticize them for getting James Harden. That's what they should have done.
Yeah, right. Here on the JAKIB Media YouTube channel, I'm waiting for the streamers to hop on and say, we're having YouTube issues. I guess we had some YouTube issues. Hopefully that is not the case today. We got 2 hours of Eagles talk ready to come your way. John McMullen, Jody McDonald. We are exactly 5 weeks away from the NFL draft. And there are some draft things I want to touch on today. Watch Matt Corral's Pro Day yesterday. Watch the Ohio State wide receivers who, don't kid yourself, wide receiver is a position Eagles should be looking at with one of their 3 first-round draft picks as of right now. But free agency is ongoing. And after yesterday's show, I got a text. What time did you text me, J Mac? About 11:15, somewhere about an hour and 15 minutes after the show was over and done with.
Yeah, something about that, something like that. A lot of rumors going around yesterday. A lot of rumors. One of them happened quickly.
You stayed in football mode when the show ended. I tried to get away from it for a little bit, and you had to bring me back into it. Stating, hey, your Jets, they could be getting Tyreek Hill. Get the heck out of here. So I got to get back to my computer and see who's saying what and the like. And then half an hour later, maybe even less than that, Tyreek Hill is traded to the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah.
And would you do that to me for McMullen? Get me all excited about Tyreek Hill to the Jets?
You know, it's funny.
Divisional rival.
You know, it's funny because one of my best friends is also a Jets fan. And, you know, he was so excited. And I told him to temper. You know, I feel bad for the Jets at times. I think they got leverage there pretty good with Tyreek Hill and Drew Rosenhaus. You know, you want to have 2 teams sort of bidding against each other. And, you know, he would have accepted a trade to the Jets evidently if, you know, if things didn't work out with Miami. So it's not like he wasn't going to go there, but it was pretty clear that his first choice was going to be Miami. And Miami went in and hit the contract number. Boy, but I'll tell you, that was interesting, Jody, because, you know, around the league, everybody assumed, well, you know, everything's going smoothly. The Chiefs are going to extend Tyreek Hill. Then all of a sudden, Devontae Adams gets his deal and everything's blown up.
Right.
And Tyreek Hill's going, well, you know, look at this. And then the Chiefs start to go, well, we can't do that. And the whole thing explodes. So it's so interesting how quickly something else can change and make another situation fluid. But, you know, from the Eagles' perspective, I'm glad it happened so quickly because it happened, you know, I wrote about this on Sports Illustrated. It happened as quick as a Tyreek Hill 40-yard dash. That's how quickly it came down. And I'm happy because I could see all the people go, should the Eagles get Tyreek Hill? So, you know, I did.
But hold on. Are you saying that the Eagles, we shouldn't put that question out there?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it's not realistic, and I'm glad it was cleared up pretty quickly. But I do find it ironic that there's sort of 2 camps, right? And there's a disconnect because there's a lot of overlap. And we've talked about on the show before, which I don't agree with. I call it the "we're not ready" crowd. So you got the, well, we can't get tired. We're not ready. Yeah. The freaking Miami Dolphins are ready. The New York Jets are ready. I don't get this crowd, Jody. And I say it all the time. I think the Sixers broke Philadelphia. We got this whole, and it's not everybody, and I'm not trying to, But there is a large swath of people that always says, we're not ready. We're not ready. We're not ready. I don't, and if I use the Sixers as an example, I don't think they're going to win the NBA title, but I'm not going to criticize them for getting James Harden. That's what they should have done.
Yeah, right.
That's what they should have done. If you're going to sit back and hand wring and say, there's going to be 31 teams next year, Jody, 31 teams that can honestly say, if they look in hindsight, well, we weren't ready. Even the AFC champions this year, the Cincinnati, technically they weren't ready. So you're always you can be comfortable. You can rest assured if you say we're not ready, you're probably going to be right. However, I don't think many people said the Eagles were ready in 2017, and guess what? They made a run. So that's one part of it. And then you have this camp of you got to build around Jalen Hurts. You got to build around Jalen Hurts. You got to see what you have. You got to give the kid a chance. You got to give him playmakers. And there's a lot of overlap between those people. One day they're saying you got to build around Jalen Hurts. And the next day, well, we're not ready for Tyreek Hill. We shouldn't be in that conversation. It drives me nuts.
I hear where you're coming from, but I am 100% in lockstep with you that the we're not ready crutch should just get out. If you're scared, get a dog. You need to be ready when the moment arises, and you shouldn't overly worry about, the perfect pieces don't fit, so it's not going to equate to a championship. So we should not go get really good players because he might not be enough to get you over the top and get you your second Super Bowl in the last 6 years. Poppycock, BS. You do what you got to do to make your team better, which is why I don't understand, since you and I are in perfect agreement on that, why was it a good thing that the Tyreek Hill trade came together quickly? Why shouldn't the Philadelphia Eagles be involved in attempting to get one of the most talented receivers in the league? It's a blatant need that they have. They're in one of the better cap situations as of right now. They've got draft assets. Why is it a good thing that they weren't involved in bidding for Tyreek Hill?
That was not a good thing for the Eagles. That was a personal good thing for me. That's all. That's all I meant.
I thought you were talking in reference to the Eagles.
No. We've been. I think it's real. I mean, they're not going to be in the conversation. It's interesting because the Eagles are known around the league for being involved in everything. That's the old cliche. They pick up the phone on everybody. They check it. They check out everybody. Just in case things unfold. We've been talking about it for over a year with Deshaun Watson. He said, no, thanks, no. And the Eagles still kept away. They were in it, hoping for him to change his mind at the last minute. They're always in it. By all indications, they weren't in on this one. Now, I talked to somebody in the league who generally gets this stuff right, and he said, well, there was nothing substantial is the word he used. I can tell you that. Now, I can't guarantee that Howie didn't call up Drew Rosenhaus and say, what's going on with Tyreek? I mean, something. But they weren't seriously involved in the discussions. Yeah, I mean, that's just good for me, not good for the Eagles. This is a player the Eagles need. This is the player. This is one of the few players that makes opposing defenses completely change how they play, other than quarterbacks. Now, we all know quarterbacks. I mean, they really affect opposing defense. But it's rare that somebody, you got to go back to players like Randy Moss. They have such an impact on the game. It freaks you out. Lawrence Taylor defensively was like that. Reggie White was like that. Aaron Donald's like that. Very, very rare. And this is one of those guys who just completely changes the game. Now, you got to pay a lot of money. I get all this, and this is where all the we're not ready crowd, is he a fit for this team at this particular time? Look, this is when he was available. The world is rarely perfect. I don't understand how people don't get this from their own lives, because we all live our lives on a day-to-day basis. There's always curveballs. Nothing goes perfect. This is when he became available because of other circumstances. namely Devontae Adams, and how much he was going to get paid. Do you want a difference maker, or do you want to live in the Zach Pascal, Greg Ward level for the rest of your life? Because that's where the Eagles
don't do that disservice to Greg Ward.
Yeah, but we're going to talk about that because I got killed. And by the way, I'm going to bring up Greg Ward a lot today because basically what the Eagles did is took a Doug Peterson favorite, Greg Ward, who was, his wife's favorite player, and he's very comfortable with, and they changed him with a Nick Sirianni favorite, Zach Pascal. Now, probably a little bit better fit for Nick because he's a better blocker, he's bigger, blah, blah, blah. But I'm with you on this one, Jody. As far as receivers, I'd rather have Greg Ward. If you're going to, they spend all this time saying Greg Ward's not explosive enough. Greg Ward's not this. Greg Ward's not that. Greg Ward, blah, blah, blah. He can't do this. He can't do that. We got to upgrade. And then you get a different Greg Ward, who the new coach likes, and everybody thinks this is an upgrade. This is not it. This is an insult. Look at the contract. $1.5 million. To call this guy, I texted one of my friends today. To call this guy a pedestrian is an insult to pedestrians. I mean, and I put this tweet out there and I sent it to you, and I got killed for it. If it comes down, but people misconstrued it. If you're giving me the option of Jalen Reagor versus Zach Pascal, first of all, shame on you for giving me that option. Because neither should be playing.
When you say you mean Eagles.
Yeah, Howie Roseman.
Yes.
Shame on Howie Roseman for giving me that option. But if that's my only option, I'm playing Jalen Reagor and rolling the dice and hoping, I don't know, he gets some maturity and whatever and gets over these mental hurdles. I'm just rolling the dice. Again, shame on you, and not you, Jody. Shame on the Eagles for giving me that option. Right. Neither should be on the field, but everybody misconstrued it as I'm defending Jalen Reagor. No, you're going to find out very quickly, Eagles fans, how wrong you are if this guy's got to play significant snaps. This is a bigger Greg Ward. This is a bigger Greg Ward.
Better blocking Greg Ward is Zach Pascal. I agree with you, and I'd rather have Greg Ward. I'd take my chances with Greg Ward. Not that Greg Ward's going to be making a Pro Bowl anytime soon, but it's just a one-on-one comparison. And if the Eagles were so moved to upgrade from Greg Ward, why did they even bother bringing Greg Ward back? And maybe Greg Ward had no other team. Maybe the only team in the National Football League was interested was the Eagles. And he said, well, if you give me a contract, okay, I'll sign. I don't know the story behind the scenes, but if
that's probably good considering the contract he got. He got 1 year, $1 million, nothing guaranteed. That's a pretty good indication that there wasn't a lot of options.
Right.
And he'll come in and, if there's an injury, they might have to default to him and he might make the team again. And that's sort of how these things happen. But you could tell everything by contracts, Jody. You really can. As far as where guys start, right? That's what they think of you. Greg Ward, one year, $1 million, nothing guaranteed. Zach Pascal, 1 year, $1.5 million, gets about 400 and something thousand guaranteed. So he's a little bit ahead. But clearly, look at what Tyreek got. There's a difference. And you can tell the Eagles, and hopefully there's another shoe to drop. I can't imagine. We shouldn't have to talk about this team taking a receiver in the first round again, but they have to now, unless they can get some veteran in here who can give them a significant upgrade.
You sent me your tweet and you said, I'm catching flack for this. And I read your tweet and I said, well, if I put it out, I'd be catching flack too, because I see it exactly the same as J Mac here. Do I really think Jalen Reagor is going to turn a corner and become a better player this year? If I had to bet money on it, the answer would be no.
Oh, I bet no.
At least he has upside. Zach Pascal is what he is. He's 4 years in the league. I don't think the reuniting of Zach Pascal with Nick Sirianni, I think, will be much like the reuniting of Carson Wentz and Frank Reich. Sorry, didn't work. Just because you had a previous relationship, worked under a guy, doesn't mean all of a sudden you're going to blossom and develop and become a player. I'm with you 100% on this, J-Mac. But I also read your SI column, and it seemed to me like you were cutting the Eagles too much slack. That the Eagles want to be aggressive. They're in a position to be aggressive. That's what their main goal is, to be aggressive.
Well, I believe that. I believe that. But their actions.
Here's the point. It doesn't matter. What they want counts for nothing.
Well, I agree. I said that on the show yesterday. Now
a couple of weeks into free agency. This isn't day 2. This isn't day 4. This isn't day 6. We're now a couple of weeks into free agency, and they've gotten one player, Hassan Reddick. They upgraded at one position, and they've done all these side deals to get a little bit more cap flexibility, and they haven't put it into anybody yet. So the desire is nice. Desire means nothing until you actually get a player procured.
Well, and I said that on the show, and I said there's a lot of different parts to this, and it's not just as simple as the Eagles are aggressive, they're not aggressive. Look, they tried, they haven't succeeded. This is a bottom line business, which I said on the show, and we agreed. This is a bottom line business. I'm not arguing that, but to say they're not aggressive because Calvin Ridley got suspended, because Allen Robinson would rather play with the Super Bowl champions, because Robert Woods decided, and he talked in Tennessee and admitted the Rams gave him a choice, and he chose Tennessee. He looked at Derrick Henry and Coach of the Year and Mike Vrabel and said, "This is where I want to be, and Nashville's a cool town," and blah blah blah, and all that kind of nonsense. So they've tried to upgrade the position, but you're right. The bottom line business, I'm just talking about the pure aggressiveness aspect. People say because it didn't succeed, the Eagles are not being aggressive. That's not necessarily the case. That's all I'm trying to say, is that they've tried to have a significant upgrade. And if Calvin Ridley wasn't a you-know-what, nobody would be talking about this, because he wouldn't be suspended. He'd be in Philadelphia, and everybody's been saying, wow, we got Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley, Devontae Smith, Quez Watkins can now sit comfortably in that wide receiver 3 position. He's got some upside. Then you start cooking with gas. Didn't work out, and they haven't been able to get people to play for Philadelphia, which is disappointing, but not necessarily not aggressive, which is all I'm trying to say.
And I hear what you're saying, but here's where maybe I judge them a little bit more harshly. If you don't get plan A, plan B needs to be immediately enacted, and you got to get that done.
Zach Pascal, baby.
If
plan
F, that's their plan B.
Plan F.
If that's an example of aggressiveness, we need to rethink who's running the show.
No, that's not aggressive. We agree there. I call that plan F. Yeah.
All right. Our plan B is our plan A. We're going to bring up one of my favorite guests. My partner, the original member of Mac and Mac, who used to team with me. He is the host of the Eagles pregame show. You hear him weekends on WIP with another guy who knows a little bit about football, that Dinger character. Glenn Macnow is going to jump aboard next here on Birds 365.